Now that the 318 Ti runs and drives, the next thing I need to do is the exhaust. So the car currently has M52 manifolds along with a standard E36 M52 midsection, cats included. The piece that's different on the Ti is the muffler section, or the catback. So the car currently just has the manifolds and the catback, and basically ends right before the rear subframe. On a E36, it is a bolt-on catback, but on a Ti, it's obviously a much smaller section because the rear of the car is smaller. Now, a while back, I bought what I thought was, and was actually listed as, a bolt-on E36 6-cylinder swap Ti catback. What I picked up was this Borla muffler that's cut. It's not bolt-on. What I have is this, which is a Flowmaster like cherry bomb, welded onto, I think, a Ti catback section. That's what was on the black car when I got it. I have this Borla that I bought that was supposed to be a bolt-on. It isn't, but it was on the 6-cylinder Ti. And then I also have this, which is a stock E36 6-cylinder catback. So what I'm hoping I can do is, using pieces from potentially all three, make one bolt-on catback. The Borla section actually has, 2-into-1, but the pipes are wider than what the stock E36 6-cylinder catback is. So I'm going to look and see if that pipe width is the same as this Flowmaster that's here, and if not, I'm probably going to have to do some extra cutting and welding to make this work. The first thing I'm going to do is see how this Borla that I bought, how it fits, see how much pipe might be needed from the back of it to the midsection of exhaust, or what I might be able to work with the other exhaust that I already have. So there's a couple things to note with this Borla muffler. For starters, I like the way the tip fits in the rear bumper. I won't have to cut it like you would if you were using an E36 muffler or trying to use one work, because the hole in this is obviously for a 4-cylinder exhaust and not dual pipes from a 6-cylinder. The other thing that's nice about this muffler is it's going to utilize the factory mounts that hold the muffler and catback section in place. So there's a mount here, another one over here, and then you can see that this was definitely the original 4-cylinder kind of 2-into-1, because it mounts and kind of lines up with the factory mount on the subframe. So if you see, I've got about probably 18 inches of pipe that I'm missing. I got to see if, I'm hoping the section that came off of the other Ti will line up and I can just cut and weld these two together. On the ground here is the exhaust from the other swapped Ti. What I'm doing is measuring kind of center to center on this 2-into-1 to see if it's the same difference as what's on the car now, to see if I can use this and cut it down for what I need. So this looks like it's measuring about 3 inches center to center. Now I just need to go to the car and see how that measures. I can tell before I even measure it that these are definitely more than 3 to 3. So let's see. Yeah, this is measuring about probably 3.5 or probably 4 to 4. So with that, what I'll have to try is cutting from here and using the collector on that other exhaust. This is kind of a mock-up of what I'm looking to do here. So if you see where my pipes kind of line up, over here is where I'm going to have to cut and weld them together. So there's not a lot going on good with this MagnaFlow, so I'm going to cut it back here where the weld starts to get really shitty, and then I'll cut the Borla off probably about midway through its pipe. It can kind of sit out of the bumper a little further if I need it to, so it should give me some adjustability there, but it's kind of what we're looking at. So I'm going to pull these off the car and mark them and cut them. Here is roughly what I'm looking at. I'm going to go ahead and put the section here that bolts the midsection on the car, and then throw the muffler up on the jack, see where everything lines up, and see if I have to do any more cutting or if I can weld that as is and make my marks. Hopefully I can do that as is. That would make life awesome. Like I said, this piece needs some work still, but to get something on the car that is a little quieter, what I'll have to do is grind all these welds off eventually and weld the whole way around, because it looks like these are just slid in here. Unless that's just a shield, but I'll have to just do some investigating once it's on the car. But Let's get this thrown on. Here's everything kind of mocked up, and it shifted a little bit here because of the weight, but pretty happy with the way everything's gonna line up. I'm gonna have to shave about probably back behind this weld off of the muffler to bring it back under the car a little more. So I'm gonna take it off quick here, do that, and then I think I'm ready to make some marks, do a couple tack welds, throw it back on, and see if that does the trick. Well, I've got enough welds on there to kind of keep it tacked in place. I'm going to test fit it back on the car. Well, I've got some welding to do still, clean up what I just did, but overall I'm pretty happy with the way it's going to fit, and this actually went way easier than I expected, and I don't know, just wasn't expecting it to go this easy. But I'm going to clean up those welds. Got to figure out exactly how I'm going to mount it. One of the mounts lines up perfect. The other one I need to look at my parts car and see what the mounting looks like for that. But then I'm going to do a sound clip once everything's welded up and bolted on. So probably another hour or so of work, and this thing will be pretty much finished up. Like I said, way easier than I expected it to be. Well, that's the muffler on the car. It's going to need a little more welding, but that's enough to get it on for now. One of the mounts needs a little bit of work, and I have some temporary hardware that bolts basically the muffler to the midsection, but it's a lot quieter now, as you can tell from that sound clip, and I'm pretty satisfied with it. Doesn't look too bad coming out of the back of the car either. Like I said, once I get the other mount adjusted, it'll kind of sit over like that, or I can pull it over that way. But that went way easier than I expected, like I said. So now that it's on, it makes it a ton more tolerable to drive. The other thing I'm going to do quick tonight is I got some Raceland rear coil springs and adjusters. I'm going to throw those in the rear and kind of get the rear to settle and sit the way I want it to. I'm not sure if that's permanently the suspension that's going to stay on here, but I need to get this thing kind of evened out. It sits really rear end high, as you've seen from other videos. But yeah, throw those springs in. Might take it for a drive tonight, not sure. Might wait until tomorrow, but otherwise that's a wrap. Like I said, this is M52 Swap 318 Ti, M52 manifolds, 328 or M52 midsection, and then kind of this custom homebrew catback that I built using a Borla muffler. But that's a wrap. Thanks for watching.